Okay, that didn't last long before I got kicked out of there. I hope people can see and hear me, and let me know if there's any microphone hum. I should check and see if there is with my own headphones here. Nope, I'm not picking up any hum, so I should be all right. I got to turn this down a little bit, though. Hold on. There we go. That sounds better, I think. I'm still hearing a little hum. Is it just me, or am I hearing a little hum? That was on the ground now. Why is this? Let me see if I can turn. Does that sound better? I don't know what I'm doing here. Hold on. Let's turn the gain. Oops. What did I just lose sound? I don't hear a thing. Do you all still hear me? Because I now don't hear a thing. Maybe these lost connection. Okay, I don't hear a thing. Can anyone still hear me? Let me know if you can still hear me. Just type a Y if you can actually hear me, because I can't hear me up here. And I wasn't touching anything in particular. I don't know why it just went dead all of a sudden. Okay, I guess you all can hear me, but I can't hear me. I'm just going to put those over there and say, fuck that shit right now. Maybe my headphones went dead. That might be it. But like I said, pardon the crappy start there, but it's not like you people are expecting professionalism or anything from me right now. But I don't know if I should tell people or not. I'm going to have a little treat up probably later this evening on my Patreon page for patrons only. It's a little recording of someone where they basically say they will do videos with anybody that grows their audience. They don't care if they agree with them, if they're good for anything like that. All they care about is that they grow their audience. So I'll be posting that on my Instagram here in a little. Oh, not my Instagram, my Patreon, maybe later tonight. So it'll either be up tonight or in the morning, one or the other. It's not very flattering of a person. They are asked by the person they're speaking to. They're like, listen, you and I both know these people are horrible racists, just trailer trash racists, and yet you still associate with them. Why? And he said, bottom line, they grow my channel. They get me views. They blah, blah, blah. I will do videos with Such, Hickok, etc. I don't care if I agree with what they're doing or if they're, I guess good for the Second Amendment, bad for the Second Amendment. As long as they get me views, i.e. make me money, I will bite my tongue and be with them. And I'm like, wow, what a real display of what kind of person you are, you money-hungry whore. Are you on the left internet? Lucky you. Yes, I am on the left internet tonight. All right, I'm already starting to answer questions over here, and I haven't even done my spiel yet. Let me do my spiel first, and then we'll get to the questions. Let me get a drink of water first, too. Oh, burpee. It tastes like coffee. Ugh. I drank coffee today. I only drink coffee like once a week, if that. If I'm like about to fall asleep during the middle of the day. Okay, here we go. Welcome everybody to Yankees Uncivil War Day 6 chat. We're struggling through this uncivil war that started on the 6th. And I call it the uncivil war because it hasn't been much of a war other than a bunch of people calling each other names and shit and yelling a lot of obscenities. But other than that, it's just a conversation between myself and my viewers. This chat is. If you've got a question for me, this is the time to ask it because I get too many emails to respond to them. Unless I know to look for it, I ain't going to see it. Also, I don't do DMs, BMs, PMs very much. Those things people slide into, I don't get that shit. It frightens me, so I stay away from it. Now, I'm not above starting a little bit of a war, a verbal spat on one of the, like Instagram or something. I like to start little spats and then keep it going long enough that other people start arguing with each other. And then I bow out because I want to get people talking to each other. because no one else needs to know what I think. I say it all the time. So I don't do those things. So here's the best place to get a hold of me. Come in here, put a question or a topic in the live chat. If you wanted me to answer something or if you want me to address something, just put it in the live chat, but type at the Yankee Marshal in front of it. At the Yankee Marshal, all one word, no spaces in it, and then a space, and then your question or your topic. I will see a red box pop up around that. You won't see it. I will. And I'll know that question or topic is for me. I try to answer all of those. If I can't answer all of them, I apologize. If you've got a question or a topic you definitely want answered or addressed, or you just want to donate to the Pets and Vets Fund, you can do a super chat. Super chats get priority as far as being answered, no matter how much they are. If it's $2 or $20, it gets the same priority as far as being answered. And if you donate $4.99 through super chat, you get an entry into the friend drawing. If you donate $4.99 or more to the Pets and Vets program, you get an entry in the friend drawing for every $4.99. I mean, like if you donate 20, you get 4 entries. And at the end of the month, we draw one winner and they get to spend a big gift certificate wherever they want. Whatever, like I say, you can spend it anywhere. In fact, the last winner bought a violin off Amazon. A really nice violin, I guess, because it was not cheap for a violin. Well, I don't know what violins normally cost. $400 might be a bargain for a violin for all I know. But then they got something else on top of that too, which was a Taurus revolver, which I got to go in tomorrow and pay for. But yeah, if you get a drawing into that, at the end of the month, we draw the winner. So all that being said, let's go over and start answering questions, because I know I had some super chats come in, so I want to get those down first, and then we'll get to see if people are asking any other questions or suggesting any other topics. Tone Capone says, for the Pets and the Vets, and got an entry in the friend drawing. And as everybody knows, I always picture in my head when I'm talking to Tone Capone, I picture him as a Pomeranian, a talking Pomeranian, or at least a typing Pomeranian, because my brother-in-law's Pomeranian was named Capone before he got hit by a 18-wheeler on the street out front of their house. Are you on the left internet? Lucky you. Yes, I am on the left internet. Which the right internet hasn't been working for 2 days, so not much chance of me being on that. I don't know if they're just having problems or what. Austin Roberts donated the Pets and Vets Fund and says, my wife keeps bringing up going to West Virginia and maybe moving there. I would like to know what you think about visiting or moving to your home state. West Virginia is a wonderful place to move if you love 2 things. Scenic countryside and crystal meth. If you love those 2 things, you'll be happy as a bug in cotton there. But if you're not into either one or the other, you're probably not going to be that happy there. Or if you like, riverboat towns, coal mines, you'll like West Virginia. If you like opportunity, inclusiveness, anything like that, probably won't like West Virginia. But it's beautiful, but it's got its issues. Beautiful terrain, questionable politics. Have you done your spiel yet? Says Bye Gal. Yes, I have, Bye Gal. I just finished my spiel. He donated to the Pets and Vets Fund to ask that. Mandolin Man 2006. What's your take on CZ trying to purchase Colt? Good inside guns topic. P.S. If I win this month, I'm looking for an SKS. Okay. That sounds like something worth looking for. I have not heard any information about it, so I don't really have any knowledge of that. If it happens, I wouldn't be offended. I like CZ. I don't like the fact that I do kind of dislike the fact that an American company would now be becoming a foreign-owned company. That I'm not too happy with. Why can't we keep our own American gun companies in our own country? I don't own any Colt stock, though. I have Smith & Wesson stock and I have Ruger stock. Not a lot of each, like 100 shares of each. And they go, but I just own them to own them. But so I don't know how I feel about that. Danny donated to the Pets and Vets Fund, said, been reading Thomas Paine's Common Sense. Do you agree the government is at its best state is at its best state, but a necessary evil. I think you kind of screwed that up a little. Awesome T-shirt, by the way. Yeah, I like this shirt, even though I've never seen the movie. Well, yeah, government is a necessary evil. There's a couple of reasons for it to exist, and they're not great reasons. Well, the defining reasons aren't great because it exists because individually we ain't going to get our shit together enough to do a lot of the things government does. Just not going to happen. There's not going to be, people aren't going to, because every time you like even out here in this area, like if the road needs a drug outside or needs to be re-graveled or something, you go to all the neighbors and, 4 out of the 6 are like, I don't want to spend your money on that. So you wouldn't get roads paved. You wouldn't get clean water. You would get if it was a voluntary everybody system. And you wouldn't be able to run a lot of the programs you run through the government, and people would tend to be a little more discriminatory and a little more tribalist if it wasn't for the government telling them don't do that. So yeah, all the reasons that government exists are not really positive reasons. I mean, they can do positive things, and it'd be great if we could exist without a central government that did anything other than just run the military and enforce the will of the people. But that's just not likely. 308. We got 308 people. 308. That's a caliber. Let's see here. Got another super chat from Chuckles. Chuckles says, I bought an RIA double stack 10 millimeter 1911 today and can't get enough of it. Best millimeter is one of the only things available in my area right now. I hear great things about the RIA 10 millimeter double stacks. I wish they would get into, I see they're making like kind of more moderate level 1911s now, not entry. They're priced a little more, but I would love to see what one of their 10 millimeter double stacks in their moderate entry level guns would be like and how much it would cost. That would be very interesting to me. Did I say who that was? That was Chuckles 357. Donated to the Pets and Vets Fund, got an entry into the friend drawing. The Mustang Life. I was looking at new Mustangs last night. I was sitting there and there's one that's about the same color as my car. And then there's an orange one sitting on a lot nearby. And I'm like, but I like my big 6.4 liter engine, my big 392. I like that because like I was looking at cars, I look at cars every now and then because I like trade my car like every year or two. And I don't get too attached to cars. I just enjoy them while I have them. And then I move on to the next one. I was looking at cars and I was looking at a lot of cars that are as fast and as powerful or even faster than my car, but they do so, with like a 6-cylinder turbo or supercharged. And I'm like, that would be, overall faster, and probably handle better in especially a lot of the foreign ones. But when I started up, I wouldn't hear that. And that's part of the thing I like. When you're sitting in the drive-through, it wouldn't sound like boom, 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 boom. And that's part of the fun of owning a car like this. So I've been looking at Mustangs. Now I should probably read your question now that I've talked about the cars for a little while. New to the channel, what do you think of the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 380EZ and what is with all the werewolf talk? Well, one, I think the Shield EZ is kind of cool, especially for people that have problems rack and slide. That gun handles so easily, deals with recoil so well. It's like shooting a 22. It's like handling something. It's almost just like a toy when you rack it. It's so easy. So if you've got hand strength issues or you're recoil sensitive, etc., that gun is freaking awesome. Even though I'm not a fan of the shields, to be honest, but that gun's freaking awesome. And as far as the werewolf talk, what am I supposed to do? Be quiet about one of the greatest single threats our country faces right now? Werewolves? Not going to happen. Not selling out to your werewolf, pro-werewolf, what would you call it? What are those people called? Lobby. Cobalt Flame donated to the Pets and Vets Fund also and says, could you bring awareness to HB 299 in the Texas legislature for this section, which allows permitless carry in the state? I made a video on it, but you have far more reach. Also, you haven't seen much mention of it online. I mean, I can. We just did, actually. But here's the thing. I don't really think national exposure, things like that, do really much good. That's local politics. And you got to get involved through local forums, local action groups, because politicians know when phone calls are coming from outside of the state or emails are coming from outside, or they don't really pay much attention to emails because anybody can write an email. They don't even really hear those. But they know what's going on in their state, and they know what people's flavor. They have people who are paid to watch the internet and watch local traffic and see what the opinion is locally. So that's more of a thing that you got to get involved locally. And really bring it up. I mean, I can say to all the people out there in Texas, be very aware of what's going on in your legislature and pay attention to pro-gun legislation, because it's rare that we get pro-gun legislation. But unless people there on the ground actually get involved, politicians ignore internet chatter to a degree because they know it's chatter, usually. And two, if you mail them letters from outside of state, they don't give two shits about that. And if you call them from an out-of-state number, they don't give two shits about that either. So it's got to be local. That's the big thing. Still got some super chats here. We might get through them all here before we can get to do something else here in a minute. Justin Boots said, already have a 6-inch 2020 Colt Python, so I'm going to buy the 425. It's similar to the one Barry Burton used in the original Resident Evil video game. Well, if you already got the 6-inch, well, then you got to buy the 4-inch too. I've got the 4-inch old one, but I'm thinking about buying the 6-inch new one just so I can do my Rick Grimes imitation. So got to do that. But yeah, I'd say that's a good choice. Teddy Two Guns donated $7. The last of my $600 stimulus. Ordered a new phone, a Note 10 Lite, and a Core Belt Cowboy Edition. Well, money well spent. The Note 10, I had the Note 10. Great gun, or great phone. Now I have the Note 20 Ultra now, and a lot of people be like, "Wow, that's 10 phones ago." No, that's just the last phone. They jumped from 10 to 20 for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's so they could like coincide with the year or something. But the Note 10s were freaking awesome. My sister has the Note 10 and she loves it. All right, I think we're finally through the super chats. I can start answering some real questions. Not that those aren't real questions. I mean, I can just start answering questions in the chat. Which Rhino are you waiting on? My LGS has a 60 DS. I'm waiting on the 30 DSX, the all stainless one. I also got a call from my dealer today. After I just put that freaking staccato on layaway, that they just got in a Beretta 92X Performance. So I'm going to go in and look at that tomorrow too when I go to pay for last month's, or actually, I guess they're this month's. They're the friend of this month because they got chosen last month to be the friend through this month. But I get to pay for their gun, so I got to go in there tomorrow anyway. So I'm going to do that. Look at that while I'm in there. Will you play it for us tomorrow? I don't know if I'll play it publicly. We'll see how things go, but I will definitely try to get it edited. So I got to blur out the voice of some people and take out some names to protect some people. But I'll try to have it up tonight or tomorrow. Was it Matt? Oh God, no. I don't have to have a videotape of Matt or audio of Matt saying stupid shit. Matt just says stupid shit all the time. You'll get to hear. Well, no, wait, this is Tuesday, isn't it? I will keep thinking today's Wednesday for some reason. I don't know why. Well, you see, I looked at the new comics on Comixology earlier, and I was like, wow, this is a pretty shitty load for Wednesday. And that's why it's a shitty release day, because it's not fucking Wednesday. It's Tuesday. Because anyone who knows anything knows Wednesday is the day new comics hit the shelf. And I was thinking today was Wednesday, and I was like, wow, this piddly little 2 pages of shitty old comics was released today. Where's all the new releases? Because I was thinking it was Thursday. I guess it's not Thursday. Let's see here. You always speak the truth. Not always. I've lied a time or two in my life, especially if it saved my ass. I'm not above lying if someone saved my ass. Like if someone says, who fucking threw that? And I'll be like, it was her. I have no problem doing that if it's going to save me from getting a beating. I'm wanting to buy ivory grips for my 629 Deluxe. Is bonded more stronger? It's the most strongest, maybe, a version of that. A guy on YouTube cracked his ivory grip. Yeah, it does matter how they stabilize their ivory or their antler or whatever it is. I'm not the biggest fan of ivory grips, but I do love like bone grips and grips from elk antler and stuff. And if you get those from a company, a guy, someone knows what they're doing, like MD grips that actually, stabilizes it first, that's a lot more solid. It's like a rock. It's heavy duty stuff once they've stabilized it. It's like how this G10 stuff here is, how it's like, can you hear that? That's hard as hell. And people are like, oh, did that hurt? Man, my hands hurt so bad anyway from the arthritis. I barely noticed that. You got a lot of nerve showing us that abhorrent image you showed us on the Inside Guns, you monster. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that was a gross image, wasn't it? Ooh, I warned people, though. I gave people a warning. I even did a countdown and everything before I showed it. So anybody who saw it can't be told, can't say they weren't warned or that it was sprung upon them, because they were very clearly warned. And I didn't even put, I didn't put anything about it in my thumbnail, so no one had to see it against their will. I got a good deal on the 380EZ at a pawn shop. It's the Performance Shop edition. My favorite werewolf movie is American Werewolf in London. That's a good movie, but it's not as good as the original Howling or Dog Soldiers. You should try Dog Soldiers. I would suggest Dog Soldiers, as even if you don't just love werewolf movies. If you love werewolf movies, the original Howling is something you have to see, and it's something that really introduced me in the theaters to werewolf movies, because I was a kid and loved it. Scared the shit out of me, but I loved it. But Dog Soldiers is something, even if you're not particularly a big werewolf fan, but you like horror movies or action movies, etc., Dog Soldiers is one to watch. Definitely. But the Reform Center, do you mean like the ones that have like the silver accents and the gold accents? Which one was yours? And you don't have to do a super chat. Tell me. You can just put it in the chat. Just type out the Yankee Marshal beforehand. Oops, what am I doing here? Where was I? Tonight's video had you sounding scratchy like cheap 90s local cable access, and not in a good nostalgic way. Whoever suggested you change your settings did you dirty. It wasn't someone suggested to change my settings. It was, I hit a switch that I didn't know I hit, and I turned on the negative 10 dB switch on my microphone. You know, the one right on the side there that says negative 10 dB. So my mic was being underpowered. And my mic was underpowered. I went to watch it, and it was like, and I'm like, good God, that's horrible. So I had to pump it up really big, because this was at like 3:30 in the morning, and I wasn't going to record it again. That was already my third attempt. The first one had a lot of hum in it, and when I was trying to fix the hum, I switched the switch on, and I just everyone I know who hates communists can't tell me what communism is. That's right, they can't. Like I say, people that are usually the most angry about things are the most ignorant about it. And like I said in my video today, it's not about communism. It's not about socialism. It's about labeling people something that you can say it doesn't matter if I treat them badly because this is what they are. Or my argument doesn't have to make sense because I'm not whatever they are, and whatever they are is horrible. So, it's bullshit. Thoughts on this civil war being a cold war that's been going on for a while? Well, it has been. Like I said, the political parties have been trying to keep their constituents, mostly the Republican Party has been guilty of this part of it, keeping them ignorant and angry. And now they've created a Frankenstein monster that they can't control, who is like angry at them. And now they're trying to walk that line of not pissing them off, but not going completely down the rabbit hole with them. So it's their fault, which is one of the reasons why people have been getting on me saying, oh, I can't believe you're supporting these people that are insurrectionists and you're saying that insurrection wasn't happening and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm in no way saying insurrection wasn't happening. A lot of those people that stormed the Capitol were guilty of a attempted coup. They're guilty of sedition. They're guilty of insurrection. But most of them weren't. Most of them, that wasn't their goal. And even a lot of the ones where it was their goal, let's say there's 100 of them, or that was their definite goal, to overthrow the government, to kidnap politicians, etc. How many of them were doing that because they're bad people who really don't like America? And how many of them are doing that because they've been lied to so much that they don't know what's right and what's wrong anymore? Especially ones that have been being lied to by their president right now, that day, who stood at a podium with other politicians and riled them up and basically told them go forth and use violence. Trial by combat, violence in the streets, all these things. They weren't very veiled statements. So do we give them some leeway because of that, because they have been the victims of these people? And I think we do. I think we should. You're not going to win people over by just saying, yeah, you fell for the shit, so you're rabble, and then kick them out of the fucking country or something. What you're going to win people over is by saying, listen, you've been lied to for a long fucking time, and you have every right to be angry. So let's come together and let's find out who the liars are, and let's hold them accountable. I think that will end in a lot better result. Can you give us a definition of communism, fascism, and socialism? Well, that shouldn't be in that order, really. It should be in socialism, communism, fascism. In in socialism, especially if we want to take it, socialism is like a light form of Marxism. Socialism is just where the system should work for the people, period. And that's what the system's supposed to work for. The people are supposed to work together for the common good. If you take it a little further into Marxism, the people are supposed to have ownership of the system. They're supposed to have ownership of the factories. Like if there's a GM plant, the people own it, the workers own it. I guess like stockholders or something. Similar to that. Communism, when it gets into a governmental form, it becomes now it's everything is for the people, but the government's going to control it and make sure everybody gets an even share, which never works because the people in charge of making sure everyone gets an even share start double dealing to the people they like. And then fascism is just fascism. I mean, I don't think we need to define that for anybody. I'm not defining these in textbook ways. I'm just trying to put them in a way people understand the basic principles. And I'm really not being creative here. I'm actually repeating something that was said to me in college from a professor who was very good at this stuff. So don't think I'm that smart. I'm just repeating something someone else said. Some YouTubers don't have integrity or morals or respect for themselves. Oh, I think a lot of them have respect for themselves. That's how they justify the things they do. If I'm doing it, it must be okay. The way I do it is okay. I'm not like those other people who, sell out for money, blah, 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 or, and then they'll tell lies. They'll justify it. I've never taken a dime from a gun manufacturer, ever. But they've given you tons of product, and they've given a third party like Leviathan money. Then Leviathan gives you money to advertise what you're told to advertise, but you play that little semantics game of I've never taken money from a gun manufacturer. No, you laundered it through Leviathan first so that you can say that. What is the big deal about ivory grips? Oh, they're pretty. They look good. The bone grips, the antler grips, I think they just look really nice. I love the looks of them. I think they're awesome looking. I like me some meth. Well, everybody do your own thing. I'm not one to judge. I like Peeps. How can I judge anybody? I'll sit and eat a fucking boatload of Peeps. And a lot of people think those things are gross. And they're bad as any drug for you, I think. So I can't bitch to anybody. I'll eat a whole bag of Reese cups in one setting. So like the Halloween bag that had the single Reese cups. I have literally done this before, ate the whole bag in one setting. Do you think people with a concealed weapon permit would at the top of the list in a gun registration confiscation? Well, we don't have any registrations right now, and I don't foresee any confiscation, so I'm not worried about it. That's fear mongering. Turns out the culprit didn't etch Trump into the manatee. Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw that today. I was actually going to mention that in my video today about people jumping the gun on shit. Because, I was told in the chat, which is what I said, if that's true, if someone actually did do that, could mutilate a manatee, fuck them, I'd kill them on sight. But then I read the actual story, and it's all they did was take their finger basically and write Trump in the algae on their back, which didn't harm the manatee. Although they did potentially harm the manatee by approaching it, but that's a totally different charge. You're not supposed to get near them or touch them. That's a violation of the Endangered Species Act. So I would say get your ass fuck away from the manatee. But the just writing someone's name on the back of the manatee, not quite as, even though it is not a good thing to do, not quite the same as mutilating a manatee by carving Trump into him. Which made me think it probably was a Trump supporter that did it, because when they were saying did it with a knife, I was thinking that sounds like something some sicko would do to try to make Trump people look bad, but that most Trump people would never do. It's kind of like that writing on Nancy Pelosi's house. We want everything, that was supposed to be by leftists. That was by righties, because no one would say we want everything with an exclamation point after it. That's false flag bullshit by someone who's not smart enough to do one well. I think, did I just jump? Oh no. Happy birthday to B. Brian Blair, 64 years old. That makes me feel old. Election is over. What is done is done. I do what I always do. Wait it out, as you would say. We will get through it. Yeah, I'll get through it. When's the last time the president had a huge effect on your life? Here's when presidents have an effect on your life. When you make $3 million a year or more, that's when you need to really start with, or you own a business that has, hundreds of employees. That's when who's president or who controls the Senate really might have an effect on your life. Or if you're in the military, that might have an effect on your life. Like when Republicans are in, we tend to go to war. Or at least when Bush was in. So those things can affect. But if you're just normal everyday citizen, when's the last time who's president affected your life? People get so worked up about stuff that isn't even going to hurt them. Tan had said, thank you for your video on Mac today. Like you, I'm a Patreon supporter of Mac. At first out of support, but now mostly to keep tabs on what he's saying. At what point would you consider stopping support? I don't really consider it, to be honest. I just don't. I'm not. I let people know what I think with my mouth, not my wallet. So and if that doesn't make sense to anybody, I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense to a lot of people, I'm sure. I don't even know if it makes sense to me, but that's just not what I'm doing. But that was from Tan Hat, who donated the Pets and Vets Fund, got a couple entry to the Friends drawing. And it is nice to be able to keep tabs on them to get those alerts, Moto Racer Chris said, Motor Acer Chris, I never am sure which way to stress that. The manatee story originally was carved and not written with the finger and algae. Exactly. That's what I said. That's what the first story I saw was, manatee mutilated was the word. Name Trump carved into his back. And then later I'm like, well, how do you mutilate something by wiping algae off of it with your finger? Because they said because then they changed it to scraped. Because I guess saying, but then if you read it, it's like probably used a finger. And I'm like, so in other words, someone wrote with their finger the word Trump in algae on the back of an animal that probably didn't even feel it. So a little bit there, about how things are represented there makes a little, big difference in the story, doesn't it? Where am I? Where am I? I've lost my place. Let me try to find it here. Where am I? Oh, I got another super chat coming in here. Hold on. Alex Campbell. What is that little symbol after it with the like an S inside, like a sideways S? I've seen a lot of people with that little symbol after their name, and I don't know what that is. Yank, always appreciate your informed and level-headed opinion, especially when the crazies are out. Local government affects my life and business much more than the federal government. P's and V's. Yeah, mine too. What they do here locally way more affects my life than the president. Who's governor? Who's the head of our Senate affects me way more than anything on the federal level. Most stuff to do at the federal level is way above my pay grade, that's for sure. That was Alex Campbell. Got a couple entries in the friend drawing. Made a donation to the Pets and Vets program. I'm starting to try to do the little clicking on it so you all can see the question as I'm reading it too. California seems to be dismissive when they hear about anti-gun laws, and I feel like that's we have such strong anti-gun laws. That's why we have. I don't know. I live in California, so it's worrisome when I hear about new gun laws. Well, I would take some solace in the fact that there's been some big court cases that have struck down some of the gun laws in California, and I'm hoping that's going to be a continuing trend in the near future. It's 4:20 time, according to the number of people in the chat. John Mandrick says we should not be confusing a good insight. We should not be confusing a good inciting a riot story with facts. This is the internet. Exactly. See, that's why I said, like I said, I do believe people engaged in sedition and insurrection, but I don't think it was an I hate America type of an insurrection, or we want to change what this country's about. We want to overthrow the Constitution. People were lied to, told that the Constitution was already being thrown out and blah, blah, blah. And, it was a very unique situation. And I don't think everyone is the same level of culpable. You know what I mean? I think there are, of everybody that even walked in those front doors, I think culpability stopped at the front doors. Or the front steps beating a cop, something like that. But even the people who walked through the front doors, there are far different levels of culpability there. There's everything there from just willful trespass to murder and insurrection. And it doesn't apply blanket to every person who walked in the door. I've lost my place again. Where am I at? Why is that still on the screen? I gotta click off that. There we go. 25th invoked, and you're talking about gun stocks. I don't know, did Pence actually invoke the 25th, or did the Congress just vote to have him invoke the 25th? Because he said, I don't wanna. Mike Pence, if no one ever knew it before, they should know it now. Mike Pence is the biggest milquetoast fucking pussy, closet homo, in my opinion, I've ever seen in political power. He's like, oh, I'm so mad at Donald Trump. He endangered my family. They're like, well, then say something. Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. Just that guy. That's who he is. John donated to the Pets and Vets Fund, but I can't find it over here. Why can't I see it over here? Is it too far up? Did I miss it or something? Okay, I'm trying to click on it. Cash Money says, why does Tundra Tactical love you so much? I have no idea what Tundra Tactical thinks of me, because I don't know who he is, and he's never spoken to me before. But I'm here. He can come speak to me anytime he wants. I think everyone in this room right now can say, I probably have the biggest live presence of all the gun channels on the internet. You can come see me anytime. I ain't hard to get a hold of. Like, I was having a conversation with someone earlier today, not a conversation, but they sent me an email. I'm trying to find this super chat while I'm talking, which is really confusing me. But here, I'll just have to read it because I can't find it. John says, do you have any suggestion for a reliable news source, or are we stuck with watching several and reading between the lines, connecting the dots? So that's what you should always do. Don't ever start to believe any news source is totally reliable. Always validate, verify, and check your sources. But I had a conversation with someone today. I'll kind of try to read what they said. Someone, let's basically, they sent me an email and I sent them, and I said, always come into a live chat. They says, well, it's the slap the yank thing. Maybe I didn't respond to their first statement or something, because a lot of times people will just send me something, but they don't say anything about wanting to actually talk about anything. And it says, it seems you have no interest in discussion. Only goal seems to be adding people to your chats. Stay safe. And I responded to them, all you have to do is show up at a chat and tell me you want in. I have one today at 6 p.m. as I do most days. Seriously, my thought was that all you care about getting more people in your chat, and your response is come on my chat. While I know you are busy, blah, 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 I have no interest in expressing my personal beliefs in a chat room. I said, he says, what I want to have is a dialogue and open people's, and I'm like, well, and I said, how better to have a dialogue and open people's minds than to speak directly to them? I have zero desire to speak with 50 people at a time. Never going to happen. So then what the fuck are you sending me an email to slap the yank for then? Let's see here. Where was I at? Just realized Trump can't be too stupid. He figured a way to escape the bizarro world. Pence has stated he will not invoke the 25th. Congress only passed a resolution. Exactly. That's what I thought, because Pence is like, stop. I wanna. He'll be mad at me. He'll call me a name. And I'll have to tell mother. Any grown man who calls his wife mother is a homo. I'm sorry. Maybe the manatee was a Trump supporter. Maybe. I don't really keep up on manatee politics. I doubt it, though, because I think they rely a lot on the Endangered Species Act, which he's attempted to gut many times. And they rely on a lot of clean water, which he's not been a fan of either. Not been an advocate of, I should say. How do I get this off of here? Fuck, now I'm just big screen. How do I get this off of there? God damn it. How do I do this? Hold on. Where's that chat? That ain't it. Well, I'll just switch to that one and then I'll turn that one off. That works. Okay. Did you see that the military formally acknowledged that Biden is president-elect? Well, they should. He's the president-elect. What is the email we can send our EDC pics to? shootingleft-of-center@gmail.com. Just make sure you put viewer EDC in the subject line. Viewer space EDC. I think Pence believes he has a career in politics after this and is trying not to go against the party. I disagree with him 100% on the fact that he has a career after this. And two, I think this ends his career. This milksop bullshit that he's doing, that ends his career. Who would ever want him to be a leader ever again? He endangered my family, but it's okay. Tundra Tactical is satire because of some of your funky photos. He likes picking on you. Okay, like I said, I don't know who it is. He can come and talk to me anytime. It's like when people are always like, what do you think of what John D said about you? I don't get too fucked. I don't really know John D. I'm not a fan of mine or a friend of mine. So all I know is he's a two-faced liar. But other than that, Caesar C says, how would the raid on the Capitol gone if the House and Senate members exercised their 2A rights? I think they would not have been so scared. Well, yeah, I think there's a point to that, because they all did hide behind armed guards really quickly. Now, I'm not saying people should have to wear guns to work, because of fear of what's going to happen. But if you were, I would have felt a lot different that day. Because, like, say, if I'd have had to lock myself in my office, I wouldn't have been hiding under a desk. I would have been sitting with my gun in my hand at my desk. And as soon as someone broke my door, or as soon as anyone even kicked my door, a bullet would go through it. And then if anyone breached the door, the first 15, 20 people in line are going to die if they're willing to. But I would be willing to bet they're not. You saw how quickly they backed away from that one door when they kicked the glass out, and that female, that one woman stood up in the glass pane to go through the door and got shot. Did the rest of them go, rush them? They shot her. No, they fucking ran for their lives. So, not a way I would have reacted. Where was I? Stephen Carroll donated Pets and Vets Fund, also, just like Caesar C just did. Thoughts on keeping a flare gun in your kit? And if so, do you have any recommendations? Walmart has one for cheap, but I felt I should look into more. Well, the ones I have are the ones I bought. I bought them at Bi-Mart. It's just the orange gun with the 3 loads for it. And I've seen things that are nicer, things that are cooler, but I've never seen anything that's more effective. Like they don't work or something. The other ones put the same light in the sky. They just might be cooler doing it. So I think those are fine because they're cheap. And you can buy multiple ones and put them in all your vehicles. But yes, I think a flare gun is something you should definitely have in your kit in your car. OK Diesel Mechanic says, I think Trump doesn't advocate for the clean water because he never knows how to drink it. That was something, wasn't it? I got to get a pewter. Pewter what? Poor girl was a Q-tard. She was. They deleted it, but I didn't see a reason to delete that. That's true. She was a Q-tard. Even her own family says, yeah, she used to be quite the person, and then she just went down the fucking rabbit hole, got crazier and crazier. Didn't see that shirt you're wearing on Forge from Freedom's website. They only had the full semi shirt. I don't know. Someone used to make a sub caliber inserts for flare guns, turn them into single shot pistol. You can still get those. Those are still around. They're still a thing. Let's see here. Where are we at? Speaking on the girl that got shot, did you notice how that officer has horrible recoil control? Looked like a girl. I have never even seen the video of him firing the shot. I've only seen the video of them from the side of the door they were on. And, you see the glass get broke out. You see her get up in the door frame, like the window frame, like she's going through. And then you hear bang, and she goes, which I didn't understand because clearly she got shot. She should have went flying against the back wall, right? And yes, no, I don't have a lot of sympathy for her. She got shot in the commission of a felony, possible insurrection. So it's like they shot a traitor. I feel sorry for the fact that she went down that rabbit hole. And I have sympathy for her as a person, that she allowed herself to be manipulated like that. And I feel bad that people were allowed to manipulate her. But in the end, it's your own judgment to believe that shit. And 2, that officer was just doing his job while she's in commission of a felony. So I don't act like it's a grand crime, like it's the end of the world, or like she's a patriot. She wasn't being a patriot at that moment. No matter what she thought, she wasn't justified in her actions. So she wasn't being a patriot. She was being a moron, and she got shot. Maybe Pence was afraid Trump's unhinged supporters. Not sure. I mean, probably is. He's a cowardly little man, but obviously, but I think you could get some backbone. I agree with you about Pence. He is toast along with Trump. Yeah, so is Ivanka, who thinks she's going to be president someday. In an interview recently, she said she still thinks she's going to be president someday. Do we have a need for vampant, self-centered, egotistical, airheaded bimbos as for president? I think we already got rid of. Well, you can't say any of those things about Hillary Clinton. She wasn't any of those. She's a whole nother nest of bad things, but what any of those things? Did you see the link on the arrest of the zip tie guy? I did not. Apparently there was 2 of them. But no, I did not. And some people was trying to say, those guys shouldn't get charged with any intent because they got them after they got in there. They found them. And then immediately I just looked on the internet, and for 2 minutes, and they had crowd pictures of those guys outside before the before they were inside with the zip ties on them. Even one of them even being interviewed by a local news source with the zip ties on him. So I'm like, I don't think that's true. Mummies from Crystal Maze. Take that back, Mumsy is less weird. Mumsy from Crystal Maze. I don't understand any of that. What is going on over here? Matt Gates, no flies, no guns next. Quit trying to drag us into your bullshit, Matt Gates, because they're wanting to put him and Ted Cruz on the no-fly list because they instigated an insurrection and supported an insurrection. He's like, no social media, no flies, no guns next. Don't drag the gun community into your bullshit. You're a fucking traitor, Matt Gates, and you're a moron. You played a game, it didn't work out in your favor. You thought you could manipulate it into your benefit and it didn't work out for you. So fucking shut up. Don't try to rally the gun people behind you because of what you did. I don't agree with the no-fly list, period. Although I do believe private business has a right to make a list of who they don't want on their planes. But social media is a private company. So, and corporations have rights. Remember, they're individuals, according to you and your Republican buddies. So deal with the consequences of your actions. Let's see here. What is, I read that. If Trump had any brains, while I'm thinking about it, if Trump had any brains, he would have allowed Mike Pence to remove him, or he would resign and then allow Mike Pence to pardon him and then go about his business. Because if he gets impeached the way they're going to impeach him, he's going to lose his Secret Service detail. He's going to lose his pension. He might be needing that pension if all of his markers get called in and he gets charged with some crimes. So I would have, if he was smart, but he's not smart. He's too self-centered. Put on a no-fly list without any charges or trials, BS. Most people on the no-fly list have never been charged with anything. That's the problem with it. Why don't you just state which side you're on? That would clear things up for everyone. Be a grown man. What do you mean, state what side I am on of what? Are you under the impression that this is a red state, blue state thing, and everybody's either red or blue, and you're either black or white? Are you that kind of moron? I think everyone in here knows where I stand on most issues. Just because you don't, that's your ignorance. That's not me not clarifying where I stand. I think any question you asked, probably 90% of the people in this chat could tell you where I stand on that issue. And the fact you don't know doesn't in any way reflect on me. It reflects on you. The very fact that you would state that in a way that you think you somehow should know how I stand, even though you've never put the effort into listening to me. So that just made you look stupid. And you do look stupid. Where was I at? What are your thoughts on the CZP09 as someone's first hammer-fired firearm? Awesome gun. I sent you two emails over the brown Galco holster you sent. The first one is a message and the other is a picture because I forgot to attach the picture. When did you send it? I'm not seeing it. I'm looking. I don't see anything with attachments, so it probably hasn't come through yet. Let me push it to get all new mail. Checking for new mail. It's not come through yet. Let's see here. Why did they not fire into the crowd when the cop was being crushed? I understand why the one cop running from the group didn't fire. No cover, no backup. I don't know. Why weren't they equipped with rubber bullets that they could have used? Less than lethal or something. I don't understand why they weren't equipped with that. And it was like the president was involved in security planning. When is the president ever involved in security planning for something like that? I think that little bit of information that the FBI leaked out, I think that is an indication of where they're headed with some stuff. So it'll be interesting. I'm not going to speculate on it, but it'll be interesting to see what becomes of all that. Mad Cats says, it's funny as a liberal seeing all the GunTube channels who hyped how perfect the free market is now want the internet regulated like a public utility. Yeah, and I've said that all along. It should be considered a public utility because they use our infrastructure. We're giving them the right to use it, and they're not paying for it. They don't do their own maintenance or their own upkeep. Whenever new lines need run, we pay for it. So new satellites need to be put up. We pay for it in the end because they get tax breaks every time they do one. So it's our money. So that's how I feel about it. And that's what I hate when people say, these socialist things, these socialists or these communists. Ain't nothing communist about it. It's free fucking market. If you got a problem with that, say it honestly. Say, I have a problem with the free market. Because if you don't understand that, you're either an idiot or you're very disingenuous. And you want to, like I said, label people something bad so that your point doesn't have to make sense. It's like arguing with someone about tax deductions and then calling them a pedophile and acting like you win the argument because you called him a pedophile. It's bullshit. What is your threshold from, this is from Danny the sick tranny, says, what is your threshold for idiocy? At what point do you start blocking people? It varies from person to person. Is someone just ignorant, or are they just boringly stupid, or are they just an asshole? Like, and if they don't have any ounce of creativity or intelligence about them, like I made a post last night about making hamburger gravy out of turkey, and some guy came on it and says, maybe Instagram will protect you, you communist asshole. I'm like, what? Instagram protect me about gravy? Are you too stupid to create any context or narrative? You can't even segue into that. That's boring. So it depends on day to day. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in, what they say. Depends. David Smith says, love the channel. I went to college with a Dave Smith. Are you a tall, hearing impaired, pasty redhead? What do you think of the Model 66 Combat Magnum? Do you have one? Yes, I have one. It's a great gun. Prefer the 686 because you get an extra shot. But the Bat Biker did a super chat here. Got entry in the Friends and Pets and Vets the friend drawing by donating to the Pets and Vets. The email will be the subject line: Galco, brown leather, and whoops. I did just send them, so your internet might get them till tomorrow. That's sadly possible. Why is it not even showing me my? Okay, I'm gonna try get new mail one more time, see if it finds it. Come on, internet. Come on, interwebs. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. No, it can't. So just checking for mail. But as soon as it comes up, I'll look at it. Isn't pasty redhead a little redundant? I've seen some redheads that were bright red, not pasty white. Like they went out in the sun for a few minutes or something. Brian McKinney donated the Pets and Fund and said the Pets. Jumpy Killer Ox donated to the Pets and Vets Fund. I don't know why I always call it. It's Killer QX, but I always say Killer Ox. Like he's a picture like an oxen with like a knife and a bad attitude. I thought people in commie countries ate tubes of mystery meat. 8 tubes of mystery meat. I'm sure they probably do, but I know people at truck stops that do the same thing here in this country. It's called a glory hole. I mean, never seen one, of course, in my life, but I know they exist. Dang, you went all max headroom there for a couple of seconds. It can happen sometimes with my internet. Do you think there will ever be a day where you become a private trainer, instructor, and would you ever consider it? No. I don't have a problem answering that question. No. Can't wait for the 3D printed meat. Ugh, I'm not sure I'm going to be okay with that. I don't know about the texture. Texture is a big thing to me when it comes to food. If it's the wrong texture, if I love the flavor but can't stand the texture, I ain't eating it. So I can't. Just why I can't eat some things like mushrooms. Like I just can't eat a mushroom because of the texture. Just, but I love the flavor. P.S. I did not donate money. What are you talking about? I thought. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you adopt me? I can be a non-minor dependent. No, I'm not adopting any non-minors. I already got a non-minor that I in my house. Well, he's not actually in my house. He's in the apartment above my studio here, though. In fact, his TV's right there, and his couch is. You see about right where that curtain is, right there. His couch is pretty much directly above that, and his TV's over here on this wall. So Deadeye Meg says, I dated a redhead. He convinced me they're soulless. You know, they are soulless. Although I think we're all soulless. I don't believe in souls. But other than that, they're soulless in a different way. Like if we actually had souls, I'd be pretty sure they didn't have one. I think the funniest incident was whether you blocked someone when the guy complained about you clearing your throat. Yeah, that's one thing that really does bother me. When people come on a channel or a video where no one at 442, we actually dropped it down to 442. We were at 507, but that wasn't a caliber or a gun. What happened to the kid that stole your gun? No one knows. He's never been seen since then. I'm betting that ended up being bus fare to California. How's the air fryer? And have you tried those Impossible burgers? My son made some the other night. They looked and smelled gross. And when I asked him, I said, "How were those?" He said they were gross. So not too fond of those. But yes, I have. I've been using the air fryer for lots of things, like fish sticks, and chicken nuggets, and stuff like that. And also, like if you have like if you buy like chicken nuggets at McDonald's or something to bring them home, and you stick them in the air fryer, they feel like they're brand new again after like a minute in the air fryer. Whereas like if you try to do them in the microwave, they get all icky. I've been using my air fryer. One thing I've been using it for a lot is cinnamon toast. Because once you get your toast set, you just sit it on the rack, put it in there, and 4 minutes later you got cinnamon toast. No preheating an oven, no nothing like that. Because to me, preheating the oven is the worst part of making a lot of things. Because you got to think 20 minutes ahead before you want to make something to start preheating the oven. And a lot of times I'll think like, I'd like some cinnamon toast. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want it 25, half an hour from now because I got to fucking preheat the oven, so I don't bother. Mr. Musk launched Starlink in North England. Do you know anyone in your state with Starlink? I don't, but I'm sure people are. I don't know why they're not offering it to our area yet. Our area is one of the most underserved areas in this part of the country. I don't know why they're not offering it to us. All the people I'm seeing who are getting it are in places where they can actually get cable internet so far. So I'm like, I don't understand that. I'm like, can you not serve the more remote areas? Was that all bullshit? Did you lie? Because like the three people they used as examples, and you look at the state, the county, and they're like, I'm in blah blah county. The whole county's covered by 5G service, or excuse me, 4G service or cable internet by one company or another. So I'm like, well, then who in that area is fucking without internet? I thought this was supposed to be able to provide internet to people who can't have any other way to get it. So I'm starting to think that guy's a fucking con man. Walmart has a rice cooker air fryer I want. I have a rice cooker and I have the air fryer. I like to keep my things separate because I did not want an air fryer that looked like a crock pot. I wanted one that looked like a toaster oven. What is the worst job you've ever worked? The two worst jobs I've ever had was one, working in a slaughterhouse, and two, cleaning public toilets for a public sanitation company. Those were the two worst jobs I've ever had. Got a super chat coming in from Old Diesel Mechanic. So you're saying you like fish sticks? Yes, I love them. I am proud gay fish. Karen Woodson says, full disclosure, I'm a mom of two redheads. Interesting character these girls have. Well, see, you just said girls. That's different. Redheaded girls, people dye their hair. Girls dye their hair red to be redheaded. When's the last time you seen a guy dye his hair red to be redheaded? It's the men that have the, it's like Kurt, I think, what's his name? No, Kurt Baumger or whatever his name is. He's a comedian. He says redheaded women are beautiful, but the best you can say about a redheaded man is that they're goofy looking. As a ginger, it's true we have no souls. We sold them to the devil for extra drinking livers. Nah, because every redhead I know, when they drink, they turn purple. They're like Koreans. So just lights out after life? Yep, just lights out. That's why I say enjoy your life, make good decisions, be comfortable, because there ain't nothing on the other side. So don't be judgmental and hateful towards people on this side, or forego things just because, oh, I know the church said no. Do what makes you happy, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. Where am I? The picture of today's viewer EDC gives a whole new meaning to the saying, just say no to crack. Yes, it does. Lauren Bobert is speaking on the floor. Don't care. I ain't seen nothing about her that would make me want to support her. She seemed like an insurrectionist supporter to me. In fact, if she carries a gun, doesn't make me go, oh, well, you get a pass on everything else because you like guns. No, that's not how things work. Is cooking one of the things you enjoy doing? Oh, God, fuck no. No. Hate it. In fact, I've had multiple bouts of screaming at my family lately that I'm tired of fucking cooking for you, non-grateful bastards. You all feed yourselves. I hate fucking cooking. I really do, because it's a chore. Every day I got to do all my shit, and then I also got to have what's going to be for dinner, and what do we need to buy, and where do we need to get it from, and how long is it going to take me to make it, and when do I get to make it? Do I make it before my chat, after my chat? It's a fucking hassle, and I hate it. If I was wealthy, I would have a dietitian that their whole job was to run my kitchen, to have me, as long as they had me out a vegetable tray and a fruit tray all day to snack on and made me good, healthy meals. That's all I'd want. And I would be happy with it. And I would never fucking cook again. The anti-ginger stuff is getting old. Well, the way to take care of that is stop having there be gingers. Once there's no gingers anymore, we won't say anything negative about them, but they need to go. Not saying kill them. Never would say that. Ginger lives matter a little. But just let them die out. I don't think two gingers should be allowed to breed. I don't think male gingers should be allowed to breed, period. Although I don't know if I've ever seen two gingers actually breed with each other. Because like I say, the ginger women are on a different level than the ginger men. So, but just let it fade out. And then we won't have to worry about it anymore. Kind of like peanut allergies. If we all just kind of turned a blind eye to peanut allergies for a few years, maybe there wouldn't be any peanut allergies anymore. I still have not gotten your email. Why am I not getting emails? I'm going to go over here and check. View history. Oops, on thing. Mailbox. Take all accounts offline. Take all accounts online. See if that does anything. Get all new mail. It does not seem to have done anything. Oh, Colbin Herb. Pretty sure recording a phone call without both parties' consent is a crime in Washington. Wasn't recorded in Washington, so doesn't apply. And plus, that's only that legality only applies to if you use it in a civil case or a lawsuit. Doesn't have to do with just regular everyday. Like, you won't get in trouble, like, because if your answering machine kicks on and records a phone call, or if your cell phone records all your calls, that's not a crime unless you try to use that. You can't use that in a court of law if they didn't know. And plus, it wasn't recorded in Washington. It wasn't recorded by me, period. It was recorded by somebody else that sent it to me. Aha, here it is. Whoops, it finally came through. I can open the attachment. All right, here is the brown holster that went out. So, yep, everybody is getting their stuff. I saw pictures of the green grips. I got a picture of the brown holster. Someone told me they got their 1911 grips. So, told you the thing was brand new. I don't think I ever used it for anything. It still had the tags on it, I think, when I sent it to you. So, I have holsters where I buy them. Used to be when I would buy a gun that I was going to try to carry, I would go to Keith's and I would order and I would buy because he carried Galco, and I'd buy a brown and a black holster for the gun because in case whatever color shoes I was wearing or belt. I had more money back then too to throw away. I don't have as much money to throw away nowadays. Let me get back down to where we're at the bottom of the chat here. Will Pence be allowed back into Indiana? Oh, I'm sure he will be. They like milksop guys in Indiana. Finally got my tax stamp approved from the ATF on CGS Siren. Took 14 months plus the 5 for them to cash the check for it. Yeah. On mine, they always cash the check right away. The checks usually get cashed in like a week after I send them. It's just the paperwork takes forever. And I've still got to call them on one. I think it got lost in the mail because they approved it, cashed the check, and then I never saw the stamp. And I'm still waiting to put the parts to fucking together. What do you think of black powder firearms, and do you own any? I don't own any, but I think they're all right. I thought that Louis C.K. was a cool ginger. Then we all saw his true colors. I'm not mad at Louis C.K. He asked every single person he ever masturbated in front of if it was okay with them. If it's not okay with you, leave. And if they're like, oh, yeah, but, it was good for my career well, then you were willing to prostitute yourself for your career. So shut the fuck up. It wasn't like he held you down or said, I'm going to fire you if you don't do anything like that. He just politely asked you if he could masturbate in front of you because that's what he's into. People are into different things. And you said yes. And then later you threw a little tantrum about it because you wanted to be involved in the Me Too movement because your career wasn't going anywhere because you really aren't funny. So you thought, well, then maybe I'll get popular by being a victim. So fuck all of you. Robert Kennedy, conspiracy theories are a popular topic of conversation, and research shows that almost half of Americans believe in at least one conspiracy. Really? I'm sure most of us believe in one conspiracy. And yes, it is a great way to get views, way to make money, because violence, conspiracy theories, things that support people's anger, that's the way to really get popular and make money on the internet. People love the violence and all the other stuff. And that was by Robert Kennedy, by the way, who donated to the Pets and Vets Fund. Did anyone ever tell me what those little S's, those little sideways S's on a disc are? It almost looks like the thing you used to put in your 45s after people's names. What the fuck that is? Where are we? Oh, we're out of time. We're past out of time. We got it. We're 14 minutes over. Let's see here. Let me see if there's any last questions coming in here. What is the basis for morality? Is it what reduces suffering based on on consent? What society agrees on? The basis of morality evolved into us as a system of cooperation and survival because you can't survive without cooperation. If you're constantly warring with everyone else, even the ones like you can't survive. If someone just murders people indiscriminately, they can't be valued as a part of your society or contribute to your survival. Morality of thou shalt not kill and you don't do other things, that was just bred into us through how we evolved as a species. Now, later things like you don't rape women and you give women equal rights and you don't use force that came later out of simple decency. But morality existed long before religions or anything else. It was a major part of evolution. Groups that could not cooperate with each other and treat each other in a way where they could cooperate didn't survive. That's why we went from several species of humans, basically of humanoid beings, to one, because Homo habilis and Neanderthal and Cro-Magnon, they didn't cooperate as well. They didn't have as much unity. They didn't work together as well, and therefore they didn't survive. Like it used to be like, oh, we developed tools first and we killed them all. No, there's lots of evidence that they developed tools before we did, like Neanderthals did at least, but we worked together better as a community. So that's where morality came from. The things you have to do to each other to get along and work together to survive. And that's how it originated. What was the worst part about running your own business? The hours and the stress. Tim Painter joined my WAP. He is now in the WAP. But like I said, we are out of time. So thanks to everyone for coming tonight. Let's see here. But I'm going to try to go and edit that video now and get it up so people for on Patreon can go see it. But I will see everybody. I thought we bred out the Neanderthals. There's some theories that say we bred with some of them, but that doesn't explain the entire disappearance of their species. Just because we took some of their women, or their men took some of our women, doesn't explain why they disappeared. Yeah, that theory is not that it was solely interbreeding is not very well thought of anymore. But there we go, everybody. Like I said, chat is over. Thanks everyone for coming tonight, especially those of you that support me on Twitter, or not Twitter. God damn, why did I say Twitter? Patreon. I don't even do the twatter. But I mean, I have a twatter account, but I almost never do anything on it. I don't know if I ever do anything intentionally. Usually it's just because, how it shares it to Twitter when you do something on another thing. But thanks everybody for coming. Thanks for everyone who's a patron over on Patreon. You're the ones that keep the channel rolling, as well as people coming here and keep the chat rolling and donate to the Pets and Vets Fund. Appreciate everything y'all do. Even the ones that just watch my videos or get involved in the conversation or thumb it up or thumbing down. I don't care which way I'm being thumbed. As long as I'm being thumbed, I'm happy. So I appreciate everything all y'all do, because the stuff you do that makes it possible for me to do the stuff I do, which is basically just take credit for the things you do. And I like doing that because it makes me feel like a big important man. So until tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time, where I am the opening chat for Never Enough Ammo, I will sign off and say, see you later.